Very good morning to all of you. I'm so happy to come back and have a revision class about this quantitative technique subject. Today, under quantitative technique subject, I would like to have a revision on central tendency. And all of you know that central tendency is one such basic statistical tool which is very important for doing any research. And before going for central tendency, let us have a brief information regarding statistics and its definition. Statistics is a data science which is always useful to understand the past performance, the present situation, that is progress, and also the future estimation or forecast. And statistics is a collection of facts where these facts are going to be taken as aggregate of facts, and we're going to use this for understanding the relationship between the various variables or quantums. And it is always done in a systematic way, and it is used for predetermined purpose, and always use it for understanding the relationship. And we know that in business terms we know about various variables where one variable is getting affected by the other variable. Alright, so let us come back to the central tendency here. Central tendency, you know that it is a central value where the value will be around which all the other values are concentrated, and you can see this central value which is going to represent the value which is a value for the total data or that group of data. So when you take for example a class performance, so the performance of the class is taken like the average of the marks, or you can say performance given by the total group. So whatever that average value that you're going to calculate, that value will represent or specifies the whole data. Let us say there are 50 students in a class. The average performance of the class is 60. That means you can say that the class is to the mark called 60%. So that 60 will be represented for the whole class. So likewise the average is going to be measured. And when you talk about central tendency values are mainly divided into two categories. One are like mathematical measures and positional measures. So you know mathematical measures where we're going to apply the mathematical formulas, the calculation part which is going to be taken for the quantums, whatever that we're going to measure for the variables. Now mathematical measures are mainly into three types here: arithmetic mean, geometric mean, and harmonic mean. Whereas when you take positional measures, these are depending on the position, that is by giving an order, or you can say in the arrangement of ranks, or frequency of occurrence is taken as positional measure. So here there are two measures what we're going to use for measuring that: median and mode. Now today let us have an in-depth discussion regarding arithmetic mean. And arithmetic mean, when you say arithmetic mean, it is a most common method or common measure which we always specify for measuring the average. Arithmetic mean, in our daily life also we are applying this arithmetic mean in order to understand the group, or you can say the data that we are taken for a group of people, or group of things, or group of events. Now when we talk about arithmetic mean, it is indicated by x bar. Let us see, if x is observation, so called as a variable of particular values, so that x indicates observations and x bar indicates the average, that is arithmetic mean of those x values. So you can write like this: here the total observations, that is total of observations by number of observations. So here total of observations, you can take x1, x2, x3 and so on, xn here we have mentioned. That means there are n number of observations that will be indicated like this, divided by total number of observations, or n. So we can write in the in the form like summation I is equals to, we can say that it is summation, the symbol is summation, I is equals to 1 to n xi by n. So here xi indicates all the observations, that is number of observations which are there in that particular group or particular data. So here let us say if there are 10 observations, you can take x1 to x10 and divide it by 10. Likewise, you're going to calculate. Now, when you talk about calculating arithmetic mean based on the data that is available, again, we got some different data. That is, data can either be a raw data, either it may be a classified data, or it may be a continuous data, or it may be a discrete data. So for each case, you're going to measure the arithmetic mean in the different formula here. So first case, when in case only observations are given, that means raw data is available. Let us say 10 students marks are given just randomly. We're going to take all this. So all this data that is available, so called as raw data, will be taken just directly, and we're going to find arithmetic mean with the help of x bar is equals to summation x by n, the total number of observations, the total of observations divided by total number of observations. So likewise, the second case, now what is this is we going to use the discrete series. What is mean by a discrete series? When we talk about raw data, for every observations there may be possibility of occurrence of that particular observation twice, thrice, or 4 times. So whenever you talk about this frequency, that frequency is the number of times that observation has happened. So that's the reason why you can take the frequency into consideration here. So x bar is equals to summation fx by n. So here summation fx by n, where f indicates the frequency of that particular observation and x indicates the observation, the specific observation. That corresponding frequency is measured here. So n is sum of the frequencies, the total number of observations are also called as sum of the frequencies. Here that is second case. And then coming to the third case, where if there is a continuous series, so that is all about discrete series. In case of continuous series, where the data is classified based on the classes, we're going to divide the total data with the help of classes with a standard class interval. That means constant class interval is taken so that we can divide the total data into classes, right? We call them as individual classes. For example, you start with 0 and generally class interval is 10, that what we're going to take, or 5. It all depends on the data that is available with us. And here the observations can be written, that means 0 to 10. For example, if I say 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, where you can see the class interval is 10, that is standard class interval, and you can see lower limit is 0 and to 10, that is 10 indicates upper limit, 0 indicates a lower limit, and this class interval will be constant throughout that particular group. And now when it comes to this third case, it is very important to understand about the mid value here. The mid value is the lower limit of that particular class plus upper limit of the particular class divided by 2. That will give the mid value here. So that mid value is useful in calculating arithmetic mean. So while finding the arithmetic mean in case of continuous series, so I hope you understood what is continuous series. So whichever the class, for example, you say 0 to 10, so here class is ended with 10, then next class will start with 10, 0 to 10, 10 to 20. That means the lower limit of the upper limit of the first class will be the lower limit of the next immediate class. That series is called as continuous series. Now when we talk about this arithmetic mean, here x bar is equals to summation fm by n. Here m is mid value of that particular class. So for each class we're going to find out the mid value. So with the help of mid value, you're going to find out the arithmetic mean here, the summation fm by n. Then n is as usual number of frequency, that is sum of frequencies, that is number of observations, and f is frequency, where m is mid value. Now let us move to the concept called finding out how to find out the arithmetic mean here. Let us take some examples here. So you can take this first example in case of raw data. So where here the classification is not done, just directly we have taken all the observations to find out the average here. So x bar is equals to summation x by n. So here x bar is equals to summation x by n, what we have taken. So summation x means here there are 10 observations given in this particular example. So if you add all the values, all the observations, we're going to get 972, which is the total of all the observations divided by a number of observations, that is by 10, we're going to get 97.2, which is an average, or you can say an arithmetic mean for the given data. So likewise, in case of such raw data, you're going to directly use this formula. Now in case of discrete series, we should see one example here. So discrete series, you can see the observations given here: 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 and 110. For each observation you can see corresponding frequency mentioned. So each frequency, where for each particular observation you can take into consideration. So here you are going to apply fx here, that is the given observation, to that corresponding frequency. So fx is the multiplication of first and second column. You're going to get fx value here. So fx, that is sum of fx is 1990, where you can find x bar as summation fx by total number of observations n. So here n is 25, that is total number of observations or total frequency. So you're going to find out x bar as summation fx by n, that is 1990 by 25 will give 29.6 as the average value or arithmetic mean. Now let us move to the next group here, that is in case of continuous series. In case of continuous series, where you can see the data here. So class interval is 10 here. How to find out class interval? That is, you can see the highest value is 70 in the group and the lowest value is 0. So we can divide 0, 70 as number of classes. Here there are 7 classes which we can divide. So we should not have a higher number of classes. Let us say you cannot keep 20 classes, 20 class groups in one such particular table. Better to have lesser than 15 such groups. Now if you write 0 to 10, 10 to 20 here, I can say it is a continuous series, because the upper limit is 10 for first class and the lower limit in the second class is 10. So likewise, you can see in all the classes the lower limit will become upper limit and upper limit will become upper limit of the first class becomes a lower limit of the next immediate class. Now class intervals we are going to take, and frequency that is given in the data. You're going to find out the mid value here for each class. So mid value is equals to here 0 plus 10, that is a lower limit plus upper limit in that class. 0 plus 10 divided by 2 will give 5 here. Likewise 10 to 20 we're going to have 15 here, because that is 30 by 2. Likewise, you can find out the mid values for all the classes, and then next you're going to find out f into m here, because you are supposed to find out summation fm. So we can apply f into m, that is 6 into 5, 5 into 15. So you can find out fm values, and with the help of summation fm, so you can find out summation fm as 1670. And then going for the average, so you can find the average like x bar is equals to summation fm by n here, because the mid values are taken fm by n, that is equals to 1670 by 50. That will give 33.4 as average value. So this is an example for a continuous series. We can understand what is a continuous series here, and this is also one example for an inclusive class. I have to mention this as an inclusive class. So what is the difference between an inclusive class and exclusive class? While you are mentioning about classes here 0 to 10, 10 to 20, so immediately in the next class, let us say you take first class as 0 to 10. So the immediate class is 10 to 20. So the upper limit of first class has become a lower limit of next immediate class. So that is what we call it as continuous series with inclusive classes. Here 10 is getting repeated in the next class, so that there will not be any difference. These are called as inclusive classes. And there are something called exclusive classes, where the upper limit of the first class may not become the lower limit of the immediate class. Those are called as exclusive classes. Now when we talk about exclusive classes, we can take this as example here. So see here, when we talk about these exclusive classes, we can convert these exclusive classes into inclusive classes. See here, class interval is here 5 4, that what we have taken as class interval. Now you can take this as an example here. First 130 to 134, what we have taken here, 135 to 139, so that the difference is 4 here. So class interval is 4 and the corresponding frequencies are given. So when you take about these classes, you have to convert these exclusive classes into inclusive classes. By what? By taking the average. For example, I take 134 as the upper class in the first class and 135 as lower limit in the next class. So I'll take the average here, 134 plus 135, the average is 134.5. so that extra value what we have got is 0.5. so that 0.5 will be subtracted for all the lower classes and 0.5 will be added for all the higher classes, so that you're going to get 129.5 to 134.5. now you can see 134.5 to 139.5. so earlier it was exclusive class, now it has been turned into inclusive class. So likewise you can convert these exclusive classes into inclusive classes and the remaining thing is same. You can see the frequencies and as usual mid values you're going to take. So 129 plus 134.5 is 132, that is lower limit plus upper limit by 2, that is going to be taken as the measurement for finding out the mid value. Now along with that you have to understand the measurement of FM here, that is frequency into mid value, so that you're going to get FM here, and the sum of FM, that is summation FM, you're going to find here as summation FM is equals to 14,535 by 100, that is total number of observations. You're going to get 145.3. so this is the third model what we have seen. The first model is the raw data, whenever the data is available directly you can take, and then in case of discrete series, where discrete series is taken, for each observation the corresponding frequencies are given, and in case of where continuous series, you're going to see this as where you're going to find out the mid value for each class and then going to find out FM, then summation FM by n. And in that we got one more classification where in case of inclusive and exclusive classes, every time whenever there is an exclusive class you should convert them into inclusive class with the method of finding the average and then adding that 0.5 or 1, whatever the difference that is there, we're going to do that, right? Next, moving to the next method, that is shortcut method. In case of shortcut method, where it is a group of data what we have got, and in case of shortcut method we're going to take assumed mean into consideration. So for finding the arithmetic mean, we try to use assumed mean, and also with the help of assumed mean we try to find the deviation for each and every observation with the help of subtracting this assumed mean from each mid value. So how are we going to find? So assumed mean means you can take any mid value in that particular class, in that particular group as assumed mean, because assumed means it's an assumption, so you can take anything, but we try to take the central value as assumed mean. So how to do this? So assumed mean, that is A, that is what we're going to use for indicating assumed mean. So x bar is equals to A plus summation fd by n. So here d is the deviation from the mid value for each deviation for each median mid value from the assumed mean. So d is equals to m minus a. Then n is sum of the frequencies and a is assumed mean. So let us take this particular problem as an example here. So you can see class intervals 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and you will have frequencies like 6, 5, 8, 15, 7, 6, 3. And by taking this you can find out, first of all, let us test out or check this whether it is an inclusive class or exclusive class. So here inclusive class interval, that is what you can see, 0 to 10, 10 to 20 repeated, right? Then go for finding out the mid value here. So we try and find the mid value. 0 to 10 we are going to have mid value called 5, 10 to 20 here 15, and 20 to 30 25. And now when we talk about deviation, we are assuming that 35 is assumed mean. So you can take any value, right? You can take 25 or 15 or 5, whatever that you can take, but for making the calculation easy, we try to take the central value here. So 35 we can take as assumed mean. Now we can find out the deviation for each observation. So here median for first, let us say 0 to 10 class, I am going to take the mid value is 5, the assumed mean is 35. So 5 minus 35 is minus 30 I'm going to take. Then 15 minus 35 it is minus 25. Then 25 minus 35 minus 10. Likewise, you can get some positive and negative values here. So whenever the mid value is lesser than assumed mean, you're going to get negative values. When it is more than that, we're going to get positive values. So likewise, you can find out D here and then go for what? F into D. We should find out F into D. We are multiplying the frequency with the deviation. We're going to get F into D, and that summation FD you can find where you can add all the negative values and then add all the positive values, so that you'll get minus 80 as summation FD. Now substitute the values in the formula here. X bar is equals to A plus summation FD by N. So here A is assumed mean. You have to be very careful about substituting the values. A is separated from the fraction here. 35 what we going to get A assumed mean plus summation FD means minus 80 by 50, that is total observations or total frequency. So X bar is equals to 35. Now here plus into minus is minus, so 80 by 50 is 1.6. So the answer is 33.4. So X bar is equals to 33.4, and this is how we going to calculate arithmetic mean by using shortcut method, right? So I hope you understood all the 4 models here. So in case of direct observations, and we going to directly apply the summation x by n, that is total by a number of observations, and in case of discrete series, summation fx by n, and in case of continuous series, there also summation fm by n, where mid value will be added there. And shortcut method, we got this where finding the assumed mean and then finding the deviation, so called as A plus summation fd by n, which we going to apply for the finding the average value, right? So I hope you understood this concept, and I wish all of you very good luck, and let us come back very soon taking into other concept. So I'm so thankful for all of you. Thank you very much.